You already know how Valorant works, and yet somehow, you're still losing most of your fights. And your KD looks like this. So you go back to basics, you remind yourself, you lock in, then forget again during that fight. The problem isn't that you don't know the fundamentals. They live in your head, but not your hands. In this video, we're not just repeating fundamentals. We're breaking down the habits that override them, and we're going to fix them properly. One study found that habits take about 2 months on average to feel automatic, though the timeline varies a lot. That process gets faster when your practice is tight, high reps, clear intent, and drills that punish bad habits. But you can't fix what you don't know, so you first need to be aware of what needs work. This is the skill awareness ladder. Unconscious incompetence. You're doing something wrong, and you don't even know it's wrong, so you're just stuck. Conscious incompetence. This is when you start catching yourself. You see the mistake, you just can't stop it yet. Conscious competence. Now you're doing it correctly, but you have to think about it, so you lose the fights when you don't. Unconscious competence. The skill is automatic. You can now focus on other things. The goal is to help you move up the ladder, turning mistakes into awareness by showing habits you need to build or break. Then awareness into training, giving you efficient drills, and eventually training into reflex. Once you have put in the time and effort, we'll start with the most common habits, then go deeper, starting with movement error, a mistake that everyone knows but easy to mess up. To fix this, go to a wall and spam burst strafes. Keep going until there are no random inaccurate bullets. Now your hand knows how to execute it cleanly. Run a DM and take it to real gunfights. Enable movement error on your crosshair's outer lines. The more distracting it looks, the better, so you're constantly reminded to stop before shooting. Use it until it becomes subconscious. You can think of it as training wheels. Eventually, you remove them, and you still move and shoot correctly. Firing error. Just like movement error, but this time, you focus on pulling down your bursts and your sprays. In your gunfight runs, enable firing error instead of movement. Spray and pray. Spraying is a useful mechanic in Valorant, but leaning on it too much can stop you from taking precise shots. To break that habit, practice clean shooting first. Turn on practice in the range. Work on taps at long distance and bursts up close. Once you're comfortable, take it into deathmatch and unbind your crouch. You'll get punished if you fall back into panic spraying. And those failed fights are exactly the point. They force you to rely on consistency, not RNG. Bad crosshair placement. This could be a whole video on its own, but to keep it brief, we'll break it into 4 parts. Methodical, for situations where you slowly clear angles one by one. You may know this as slicing the pie. Hop on a custom game, on a map you're not as familiar with. Practice pre-aiming on all common angles and tracking on possible off angles. Go back, repeat, and go through every lane in sight. Now to practice with real targets. Launch VCT Haven Wallpeek and Aimlabs. 2 bots will spawn on each side, but try to peek 1 target at a time. Chaotic. When things get messy, oftentimes when you hit a site, you'd need to snap to multiple angles. To practice your raw aiming skills, play Deepflick, Pokeball, and Aimlabs. This task doesn't require you to shoot, you just need to flick on the target. It has regenerating health to make sure your flicks are landing exactly. Once you can rely on your deep flicks, play deathmatch with no sound.
Warm up.
The constant gunfights, respawns, multiple angles, and having no info on where they could peek makes you actively work on your angle snapping. Just make sure you're not hiding in the corner, camping, because that defeats the purpose of getting your reps in on taking chaotic fights. Positional. This time your crosshair placement is on the enemy's position, not on the map's common angles. It occurs when you know where the enemy is, and you need to pre-aim on where they are or where they could be the moment you peek. You can get high reps of that by playing DM, but this time, play with sound on and don't shoot. Constantly peek, pre-aim, and re-peek the enemies without shooting. That's plenty of pre-aim reps in one gunfight. This drill will improve your positional pre-aiming by predicting where they could be the moment you peek, or by playing around their footsteps, as well as your tracking skills and head-level crosshair placement. Holding. For defense and holding down an angle, it's hard to replicate that scenario to have high reps in, without having another person with you in a custom game. But you can easily do this in Aimlabs. There are multiple Valorant maps in the aim trainer that you can practice holding and get a ton of reps in a short amount of time. That's everything for crosshair placement. Let's proceed to the next bad habit. Distance spraying. In long distance gunfights, it's not favorable to do 3 to 4 bullet bursts, because if you didn't tag the target and they only tapped or did 2 bullet bursts, they can strafe first, reset their gun faster, and is ready for the next shot, while you're still trying to recover from the first burst. And if you did tag them, you're more likely to close off that kill, since strafes would be slower. But even then, at long distance, your 3rd and 4th bullet would be inaccurate. To practice the timing between bursts, enter the range and aim at the wall. Shoot a 3 bullet burst, strafe, and shoot as soon as your gun resets. Practice the feel and timing. Move on as soon as you shoot the last bullet, and shoot as soon as your gun resets. And of course, you can mix up the timing to mess with the enemy. Now move back a few steps and do 2 bullet bursts, and move even further back for 1 taps. To practice the decision making on the kind of shots, turn on practice and go to the side. Actively think of doing 1 taps from long distance, 2 bullet bursts at medium range, and 3 bullet bursts at closer bots. Diagonal peek. Pressing W when you peek makes you easier to hit. You move slower from the angle holder's perspective, and you need to let go of 2 inputs to stop so you shoot slower. To build a habit of only pressing strafing keys when peeking, play deathmatch and bind W to your melee. This pulls out your knife when you try to press W when you peek, making you punishable on your diagonal peeks. While this drill is annoying, it's very effective at making sure you only press A and D on your peeks. You can also play other VCT Wallpeek maps to practice your mouse and keyboard's coordination, such as split and bind. Mindless flicks. You flick every time you see an enemy, with no micro adjustments or hit confirmation. While it's good on chaotic, close to medium range fights, flicking on small targets at a far distance has a large room for error. It's unreliable, so practice adding micro adjustments towards the end of your flick. An efficient way to practice that is by playing Adjustshot, Valorant, and Aimlabs. The targets aren't clustered, so you're forced to flick between them. Its small size and movement reinforce you to micro adjust after the initial flick. Now that you know the common Valorant bad habits, review your games if you're not sure which one is making you lose your gunfights. Once you have that awareness, use the drills mentioned to start training. Play custom, the range, and Aimlabs for high repetitions, and deathmatch or real games to apply in realistic gunfights. Practice consistently until it becomes reflexive. Comment below what content you'd like to see next. Subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss it.